There are unwritten rules about school everyone knows, like never poop in the bathroom, or when the teacher looks at you during a test, look up at the ceiling like you're trying to think. But what if I told you there are also unwritten levels of popularity every school has that everyone knows, but nobody talks about? From the kids you went to class with every single day for years without ever learning their name, to the students who were so popular, they basically ran the school more than the principal. The levels of school popularity is an unspoken code that no one talks about, but everyone understands within the very first week of school starting. And it all begins with level 1. The outcasts. Now, I want to be really careful about how I say this because outcast sounds mean, and I'm not trying to be mean, but let me tell you, most of the people at school were very mean to this group. The outcast wasn't a group that was necessarily disliked by everyone. It's more that they fit into a very specific category that people immediately wrote off the second they heard it. Like, there are certain labels in school that the moment someone tells you,
"Oh yeah, that's a band kid,"
or
"Oh, he's a nerd,"
your brain just automatically assumes you'll know exactly what their personality is like. The biggest examples are the nerds. These kids were outcasted in school simply for the fact that they were smarter than the rest of us. Sounds pretty dumb once you get out of school, but while you're in it, for some reason, it feels like it makes sense. Instead of hanging out with people after school or playing sports trying to fit in, these kids would just go home and lock in on homework. They were investing in their future, and now those kids are probably all doctors. Meanwhile, the rest of us who weren't thinking about our future are probably all saying,
"Hi, welcome to McDonald's. What can I get you?"
for 5 days a week. But outcast wasn't just for people who were smarter than us. Sometimes it was for a totally different reason. Because another type of person that fit into the outcast group was the band kids. Once again, if you heard someone say they were a band kid, you instantly made an assumption about their personality in your head. Now, was it a good assumption or a bad one? Depends on who you ask. But at least at my school, band kids did not have the best reputation. But it wasn't for the typical reason you would think of the band kids smelling or anything like that. No, it was simply because one band kid at our school peed his pants during a performance in front of basically the whole school. And he was wearing khakis, so everyone could see it. And from that point on, the band kids did not have a good reputation. But here's the thing, the outcast group is actually kind of fascinating because they have arguably the highest sense of community of any group on this entire list. Because when you're placed in a box by everyone else, you find the other people that are also in that box and you form a really tight group. You know, now that I think about it, that's probably the same way some really evil groups that have done a lot of harm in the world started too. But we can talk about that another time. Point is, the band kids have each other. The theater kids who overlap with the band kids in a Venn diagram also have each other. Now, do I actually know what a Venn diagram looks like? No, but I said it because I wanted to sound smart, so I hope it was accurate. The nerds have their corner of the library and their lunch table and their own inside world that nobody else knows about. But from the outside perspective, the rest of the students at school, these kids are just written off. And that's the defining feature of level 1. It's not that people dislike you, it's that people hear what you're into and they just go,
"Oh, okay, I know exactly what he's like."
But here's the hilarious part about all that. You would think it sucks to be in group 1 because of how you're treated. But I would say most of level 1 in high school are thriving way harder than everyone else was after high school. Because it turns out the skills that you got labeled a nerd for will make you money. The skills that you learned from being a theater kid will make you a famous actor. And the skills from being a band kid, to be honest, y'all might just be cooked. I don't know if there's any transferable skills there. But I don't want y'all to feel left out, so just imagine there was. But shout out to all the level 1 popularity kids in school. You guys deserved better, but you're thriving in life in the long term. Now, level 1 is literally the lowest level of popularity you can go, but somehow, I think level 2 would actually be worse to be in. Let me explain. Level 1 kids, the outcasts, they're known. They have a reputation, even if it's a bad one. When I talked about level 1 kids, you probably had someone specific come to your mind. But when I described the level 2 students, no one will come to your mind because you simply don't know them. And the reason for that is because level 2 is what I call the invisible kids. These kids are ghosts. And no, I'm not saying they got superpowers and are literally invisible because I know some of y'all will take whatever I say literally and be like,
"Tyler, there was no invisible people at high school."
Yeah, I'm talking to you, Steamboat432. I see all your comments on my videos. Learn what sarcasm is. I'm sorry. But let me get to the point. The kids in level 2 are simply people that exist. They attend the school, they sit in class, do their homework, eat lunch, but somehow, despite doing all those things in the same building as 500 other people for 4 years, nobody knows who they are. Like, you'll be at a lunch table one day and you'll glance across the cafeteria and there will be a kid sitting alone and you'll think,
"Wait, who is that?"
And someone will say,
"Oh, that's Jake. We've gone to school with him since kindergarten."
And you'll just be thinking, you could have told me that man transferred to this school today and I would have believed you. The invisible kids are not weird. That's the thing. They're not doing anything that would cause people to write them off the way level 1 kids get written off. They're not labeled at all. They're not nerds. They're not band kids. They don't do anything to get noticed. The more I talk about it, this low-key sounds like the most peaceful life ever. They probably don't go through any drama or anything. Just imagine how low their cortisol levels are. But I did say in the beginning of this section that I believe being a part of level 2 can be worse than level 1. And the reason for that is because at least outcasts have a community. The nerd table is a real table with real people who care about each other. The band kids have band, and anime or whatever else they like. But the invisible kids, they genuinely might go an entire school day without saying a single word to anybody. Now, I can't speak for these people because this wasn't the level I was a part of. So maybe level 2 people actually preferred it this way. Who knows? But I do have the most funny story about an interaction I had with someone on this level, because I was in class one day and I got put into a random group for a project. I was low-key scared for this because the group I got put into for this project was me and 3 other kids that I literally did not know at all. I didn't know their names, I didn't recognize their face, nothing. So when we got put together, I introduced myself to all of them. I said my name and asked what theirs was. But for every single person I introduced myself to, they all said they already knew my name because we've gone to school with each other for 8 years. I've never felt so bad before, but at least after that day, I did know who they were. But to anyone who is in this level at school, I have a question. What is your high school experience actually like? Because from the outside, it looks lonely. But that's the thing. We can only see it from the outside. Because now that I'm not in school anymore, I low-key am a part of group 2. I don't leave the house much. I don't really talk to anyone during the day. And you know what? I love it that way. So shout out to you guys. Y'all figured out way before us that being a level 2 is the most goated way of living. Unfortunately, we can't all live a goated life though. And that is why most of us have to fit into the next category, which is level 3, the average student. I need everyone to pay very close attention to this level because most of us were in it. And when I say us, yes, I mean me and you, twin. We were level 3ers. You can deny all you want, saying that you were higher than this, but let's be honest, that's not possible. Because here's what most people will do. They'll hear me describe level 3, they'll recognize it completely, and then they'll convince themselves,
Okay, well, that's not me. I was at least a level 4.
well, brother or sister, let me put my hand on your shoulder and say, level 3 is you. It's definitely you. Because level 3 is exactly what it sounds like. You have friends, but not a lot of them. You're not a loner. You're not navigating the hallways in complete social isolation. You have people you sit with at lunch, but those friends are probably also in level 3. You're not connected to the popular kids in any meaningful way. You're not getting invited to the parties, not because you're disliked, just because you're not quite a part of that group. Do they play sports? Maybe, but they're probably not the star player on the team. Academically, you might be all right. You're not failing any classes, but you're also not winning valedictorian like I did. Okay, that's a lie. Now, I think level 3 can either be the best level to be a part of or the worst, because level 3 students are never targets. The bullies don't care about you because they're more focused on level 1. You'll probably never be miserable in school because no one is spreading rumors about you or involving you in drama. That sounds really nice, right? But when you're in school, for some reason, you crave drama. So you're kind of sad that you're not a part of all that. But if you aren't sure whether this was your level, I have a way that will confirm whether you were in it or not. When you think back to all the years you've been in school, are most of your memories about the people you were close with or about the broader school in general? You remember conversations at that one lunch table. You remember the inside jokes with your 2 best friends, but you probably don't have a lot of memories that involve half the grade, right? Because that's how my experience was. Low-key, now that I'm looking back at high school, I had no motion, dog. No wonder I never had a girlfriend. But anyways, you may ask,
Tyler, where's the personal story about level 3 like you've given for all the other levels?
I don't have one because us level 3s don't have anything crazy to talk about, but I definitely got some stories for level 4, which is where things start to get interesting. Level 4 is what I call the group member. This is where you actually start to get some motion in school. If you're in level 4, your social identity starts to be defined primarily by what group or team you're a part of rather than you as an individual. At level 4, people outside of just your level start to become aware of you, and that's mainly because of who you hang out with. You might be just inside the popular kids group. If there's a big party happening, congratulations, buddy. You might be getting the invite. Now, I don't want to gas up level 4 too much because while you are involved in all these things, you're just barely a part of it. So say you're a level 4 person that is a part of the popular kids group and they're having a sleepover. Odds are you're not getting invited to that. That's right, twin. Me and you are not getting invited. You're just not close enough yet to be in that level. But if there's a bigger event going on that's less intimate, that's where you shine. There's definitely group chats your friend group has without you because while you're a part of the friend group, you're not in the core part. If you don't really understand this level yet, think about it this way. You remember the TikTok Riz party? Which I can't believe I'm talking about as a grown man, but it will make sense. Just bear with me. Anyways, the TikTok Riz party had 3 main people. The group leader, Quandale Dingle, and White Shirt Kid. Now, it is very obvious from the video at the party that Quandale Dingle is the definition of a level 4 person. He's at the party, so he's cool with everyone. But if you see the way he looks around, you can tell he's just trying to fit in. He doesn't know exactly if he belongs yet. That's what being a level 4 student means. So this also means level 4 is a really stressful place to be. You're fighting to get higher up in the group to get invited to the more exclusive hangout sessions, but you're also at a point where they could just easily boo you out of the group at any moment because they feel like it. The athlete version of this is interesting because athlete group members have a very specific experience. Like, the football team in most schools is all popular kids. The team itself don't even gotta be good. If you're on the varsity football team, you basically have a free ride to being level 4 at the very least. I used to think I was level 4 when I was actually in school, and it wasn't until I got out that I started to realize I definitely wasn't. I was just living in delusion. The reason I thought I was a group member at the time is because I was cool with a lot of the kids in these groups. Football players I was friends with, most popular kids in school, they all knew my name, but as I start to think about it, I never got invited to a single event or hangout or sleepover that these groups had. To all of them, I was just that guy that you're cool with at school, but the moment you graduate, you never see him again. One hot take I have about level 4 is that it's by far the most stressful level to be in, because you could so easily switch down to a level 3 or up to a level 5. Now, it's gonna be really hard for me to move on to the next level, mostly because I can't count past 4, but still, I'm gonna try. So now we got level 5, the niche popular. If I could go back to school, well, I mean, technically I could because I never finished, but if I could go back to school and choose which level of popular to be, I would easily choose level 5. If you are at this level, most of the school knows you. Not just within your friend group, but across the whole school. If you walked into a classroom in a hallway that you've never been to, there's a pretty good chance that some random kid in the classroom knows who you are. Everything is elevated at this level. You're definitely either on a sports team or hang out with all the popular kids. But the difference here is that you're not fighting for your life just to be a part of these groups. You can joke with them without risking saying the wrong thing, getting someone mad, then getting booted out of the group. But this group is different from others because you can be a part of it without having to be on a sports team or be with the popular kids. You can be at this level simply for just who you are. Like, there was a kid at my school who they called the freshman flyer, and that's because one day he jumped off the top of the roof at school onto the ground. What was he trying to accomplish? Nothing. He did break his back though. But what I'm getting at with this is that he instantly became level 5 of popularity because obviously when someone jumps off a school building, you're gonna hear about it. So basically everyone knew his name. By the way, I don't recommend trying that. This didn't mean he started hanging out with all the popular kids. He still went about his day like normal. In a back brace, sure, but everyone at the school knew his name now. Another example of someone who could be level 5 of popularity is the school plug. And I don't think I need to explain what that means, but let's just say you're the person who can get things that other people need, like M&Ms, and people are always happy to see you. Obviously, in an ideal world, everyone would love to be in the highest possible level of popularity. But here's the problem with getting too much higher than level 5. The higher you go, the more your popularity stops being about people liking you and becomes more about people either being jealous of you or wanting to use you for social gain. At a certain point, and we'll get into exactly where that point is, the popularity stops being warm and starts being complicated. This is the weird part though, because I was definitely at different levels throughout all my years at school. Yeah, I know I said I was in level 3, but that was for most of school because there was a time where I, Tyler Vitelli, was in level 5. And let me tell you, it was amazing. For both years of middle school, I was the new kid. There were so many kids I had never met before who went here, and that made people interested in me. So instantly, I became kind of popular. And let me tell you, the perks of being level 5 were the best. I was getting invited to everything. Like, this was the first time I ever went to a party, and one of the last because I realized I didn't like them. But everyone was friendly to me, and there was literally nothing for me to complain about. You know what the best part of level 5 was though? You're mostly immune to the drama. You're popular enough to be respected, but not hated or envied enough to the point where people want to make up rumors about you. Unfortunately, I suffered from this one time because my school made a rumor about me that I wore a thong to class. Obviously, this was entirely made up, okay? It was a Speedo. And although you're not involved in the drama, you know all of it. You're close enough to be told any secrets that most people at school wouldn't know. If you ever have the chance to switch your level of popularity at school, I would recommend trying to get here and then stay there. Because if you dare to go up to level 6, things start to get tricky. Now let's just be real for a second, guys. 99% of us can sit this one out. Yes, me and you, we're all way too chopped to be a part of level 6, unfortunately. Because there are some specific requirements everyone in level 6 has to have. And one of those requirements is to be very good looking. If you're not, you got no chance. I'm sorry. And I learned that the hard way. This is why level 6 is the school celebrity. And when I say celebrity, I mean it. These kids are famous within the school. Not just known, like everyone at level 5 is known, but these kids are famous in the sense that their name gets mentioned in conversations they're not even a part of. They're always being talked about. Level 6 is almost always reached through one of two things. Either being super athletic or being extremely attractive. Being conventionally attractive in high school is genuinely a superpower. Matter of fact, being handsome in life in general is a superpower. are. And trust me, I would know. Can't wait to see what the comments say about that part. But whether we like it or not, it's the truth. The good-looking students get treated differently. They get more patience from the teachers, more invitations, more attention. People they don't know smile at them in public. This is why when people ask the question, would you rather be super good-looking but really dumb, or really smart but ugly? The answer is always obvious to me. I mean, I'm already really handsome, so I don't really gotta worry about that question though. And the elite athlete version of being in level 6 is similar. If you're the starting quarterback on a football team or a starting player on a basketball team, you are level 6 almost by default. The thing about being a school celebrity is that everyone wants to be around you. And that sounds great on paper. Who wouldn't want to be popular? Who wouldn't love people always wanting to sit with you and talk to you and invite you places? The problem is you very quickly start to lose track of who actually likes you versus who hates you. Because the people who hate you will act the nicest to you. But trust me, they are wishing on your downfall. As bad as it sounds, it's true. I would trust my friend way more that calls me chopped all the time than the one that's gassing me up. Because at level 6, your friendship is currency. People literally gain something from being your friend. My first year of high school, there was a guy who was definitely level 6, and I still don't know why, but for some reason, he just really liked me. He was a junior, so he had a car, and he would always drive me to get food and things like that. Now, the only problem was this man was crazy. Like literally crazy in ways I'm scared to elaborate. But because of that, I was always nervous to be around him. But hanging out with him gave me so much social credit with the rest of school that I would still hang out with him, even though it kind of terrified me. If you get put in this same scenario and have an opportunity to be friends with someone in level 6, be careful. They're probably crazy, because if they were normal, they'd be in level 3 with the rest of us. If you're still not really sure how to identify what a level 6 person is, just watch basically any Hollywood movie about high schoolers. Level 6ers are usually all the side characters. But just like every movie, there's side characters, and then there's a main character. And without a doubt, the main character of every high school movie is level 7, the legend. Level 7 is different, not gonna lie. Just from me saying that level out loud, I almost started levitating out of my chair, which isn't really that unusual because that's just something I can naturally do. Similar to how I can also make people poop on command. Don't believe me? Did you just poop your pants? Most of you probably didn't, but I'm sure at least one person out there watching got the urge to poop. Where was I though? Level 7 is its own category entirely. And I genuinely think if you ever went to school with one of these people, you know exactly who I'm talking about. You're already picturing a face right now. The first thing you need to understand about the legend is that there are very few of them. Like we're talking maybe 2 or 3 people per school. And at some schools, maybe just 1. Not everyone even goes to school with a level 7. But if you did, you know. It sounds like I'm talking about a rare Pokemon, but it low-key was like that though, because the legend is what happens when you take everything I just said about the level 6 school celebrity and multiply it by 10. The level 6 person is famous within the school. The level 7 person is the school. Their reputation doesn't live at the school. Their reputation is the school's reputation. Like, if you went to a different school and someone asked you where you go, there is a very real chance the first thing out of your mouth would be this person's name.
Where you go to school? Oh, I go to Ligma High. Wait, Ligma High? Isn't that where Marcus goes? Yeah.
The level 7 person has more actual power in the building than most of the adults. I know that sounds insane, but they run the place. Now you may ask,
Tyler, how do I get into level 7?
And buddy, if you're asking this question, let me just tell you, you're already too late. You have no chance, unfortunately. Because being level 7 is just something you're born with. Whether that be because you were blessed with the most athletic genes on the planet or the most attractive genes on the planet. No, once again, editor, I'm not talking about gene pants. I'm talking about genetics. Bro is just mad he wasn't born with good genes. All right, do you want to get fired again? Genuinely, it's like this is your fetish. You love getting fired. So you know what? Let me grant your wish. You're fired. I could do this job myself. The legend is almost always the best athlete the school has had in a generation. They're going to a huge college everyone knows, or they're going to New York after college to be a model because of how attractive they are. There's something about them that's just different. You can feel it when they walk into a room. People love to overuse the word aura, but if you actually want to know what aura is, it's a level 7. But level 7 isn't all sunshine and rainbows. It's easy to just describe them as this mythical figure that everyone wants to be and just leave it there. But the reality is, it's more complicated. First is because everyone knows you at school, so everyone has an opinion on you. Some are probably good, but most are likely very jealous. I mean, think about it. It's a bunch of teenagers. Of course they're gonna be jealous of the coolest kid at school. I sure know I was. And if someone is jealous of you, they may do things to try to put you down, which means there will always be rumors about you, no matter whether they're true or not. The legend is the person throwing parties, not attending them. They don't wait for an invitation. They create the events that other people are begging to be invited to. Their family is probably rich. You know, the more and more I think about school popularity, it's all my parents' fault I wasn't this high of a level. If they just blessed me with amazing athletic and attractive genetics and they were rich, I could have been level 7. The legend also has a very interesting relationship with the teachers because even they know how popular this person is. Now, depending on which teacher it is, they might start flirting with the level 7 student, which definitely definitely ain't right, but let's be real. We've all had some teachers before that, well, they probably shouldn't be allowed within 500 feet of a school if we're being honest. Because of this, the level 7 student can basically do whatever they want in class and still pass. They don't have to actually go and learn because the teacher will give them a good grade either way. They're chilling. But if you somehow become a friend with the level 7, brother, you are set for the rest of school. Just by association, your life has gotten 10 times easier. I know. This sounds amazing, but unfortunately, for most of us, this is just a dream. Because at the end of the day, we are chopped. Yes, me and you. We are all chopped. Matter of fact, that's what I'm gonna call my fan base. Chopped FC. Yeah, we are Chopped FC.